Hey everyone. I've already tried my hand at doing this live earlier today, so if by chance you saw that, then hi again. But otherwise, this is likely a very fresh hi in the middle of, well, I'm not sure if it's the exact middle, but we are within the eclipse tunnel, which very much does feel like a tube of very focused attention. No, it feels like we're in like a black hole of some kind, in the sense that it feels very vacuumy to me. It feels like anything is possible. And it's actually giving me a little bit of the fool energy, a little bit trickstery in terms of needing to locate discernment. That's been so hard for me for situations that I really thought I had a grip on. I don't know, I guess when you're also speaking in the way that I do about the importance of intuition, you'd think by now that it becomes like second nature, where it's like, oh yeah, I'll definitely be able to exercise my discernment in a situation. Throw a situation at me, and then the universe throws you a situation that's actually very challenging, very tricky to find out what the truth is. Where you at the same time, I have at the same time, through this confusion and difficulty in applying discernment, I've also been very clear and aware of my projections and the way that I'm so quick to assume the worst of people and the worst outcome of a situation. And I believe that the reason that this is happening, the reason why this is at least happening for me, but I do believe that this can be true for a very large group of us, where we're being challenged, we're being spiritually challenged in that way to fine-tune the way that we use our intuition and the language that our bodies and our universes use to speak to us. I think that I actually listed my reason, that the reason that this is all happening, the intense pressure of this, is our ability to tap into our intuition, our inner sanctuaries, inner truths, and from that, source out the truth of what we want, and then use this time, this is a very delicate time energetically, to manifest it. Now more than ever, it's so important to tap into the frequency of how you would be feeling if you achieved your dreams. Like, we've been speaking on this, but it is so important right now to do it right now. Although I would warn against the focused intention of pulling a future in as much as or more than releasing and letting what you don't want to go. It feels like that is more in our control than the future and what it may hold for us in terms of what we want and stuff. I'm just really eager as well to go forward. You know, that's also what I've been feeling on my shoulders. I'm so eager to just burn everything down. I don't care what. I can feel the sense of urgency for preparing for my future. And I'm at this point where I don't care what I have to let go of or whom. If it is put directly in front of me that needs to go, then it's going. No matter how long I've known this thing or person or place or whatever, if I need to go, if the universe speaks to me, my intuition speaks to me and says it's time to go, I'm going. I don't care. And I don't remember when last I felt this much volition about releasing, and this much detachment in being able to release what I just don't care about keeping. And there are also some things that I obviously do care about keeping, but again, with this volition and this desire to just keep moving forward, I don't care. And even that in itself is a little bit scary to me. Being soft versus being hard. But anyway, the channeled image that I received in the first time that I tried to live stream this was that of the parting of the sea by Moses when he was leading the people. In this case, I'd also said that I'm not particularly feeling into one person leading a group of people. It feels like we are all being led by what I'd mentioned earlier in this reading, our intuition. And I also I brought up the consideration of what kind of focus Moses had to hold in order to make sure that the seas, well, I mean, it's half and half, right? Okay, so let me rather start there. The way that I imaged what it must have been like for Moses to part the sea was through what we've been studying, which is the focus of attention or awareness upon a thing so that a desired consequence can happen. In Moses' case, the thing he focused on was God. And then it was through Moses' incarnation that miracle was supposed to happen. But Moses had to be open, right? He had to be very clearly and intentionally focused on the frequency of God, that which was to help him achieve the thing. We are not alone. We require in very huge generative levels of attention in order to get what we want, but it's not hard. Ironically enough, it's actually the easiest thing that you can do. That line about how it's so simple that it cannot be spoken. That is how we can achieve the frequency. It's always accessible. Right now, unfortunately, and on purpose, it is very difficult to find. It doesn't seem like God is in any room. And with all of this, you can imagine the duality and God laughing at that, the inside joke that's been created with this reality of how when something is at its emptiest or at its most void of God, that's when God is the most present. That's when miracles happen, right? There's lots of space for miracles in a very, 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 very shitty situation. Even just perception-wise, right? Because you're focused on how shitty the situation is. You're in this low frequency. Anything could be a miracle, right? With how low you can feel during a shitty situation, during grief. Your heart shatters open, and I think that's what's happening right now. I mentioned that in the last reading, that we are really being broken to pieces and pieces, and it's been very, very painful for me, like I mentioned. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier in this live stream or in the one I previously did, but I have been so in my shadow, so deeply within my darkness, my worst traits, the very typical 8th house Scorpio habits of pushing people away, isolating, being reactive, defensive. Yeah. And honestly, it feels like that's been me this whole year, but something about this tunnel is really testy in that regard. And like I said, to repeat myself, I don't know when I said this, but this is the most proud that I have felt in my shadow. The most proud ever. I've never felt so self-validated by how I feel. And I've never felt so, well, fuck it, this is how I feel, so whatever. Take it or leave it. I'm out. Or I'm just going to do what I want. I don't care. I've never felt this clear frequency of that before. It's always been laced with the very deep, codependent, over-empathic consideration of the people around me. So it's different. This is a very different time of shadow work for me. This is the first time in a while that it feels productive, feels good, and I feel very determined to come out on the other side of this knowing myself better, which I think is also an opportunity that all of us are facing right now, is the opportunity to know ourselves a lot better. However, like I said, there's still some level of discernment that's completely, it feels like there's a lot of blind side to this experience. There's a lot of things that are unpredictable. And like I said, the Fool energy, very trickster, very, very naughty. So my intention for this today's shuffle would be to find out a little bit more about what lays in the crevices of this eclipse tunnel that we're in. I'm feeling into a lot of jump scares. Not getting whether or not it's good or bad, but like I said, very trickster energy, very shocking. Very something that could look very nice in the beginning, and then later on it transforms and morphs into a really ugly or annoying creature that you just want to get rid of. It's giving Gemini-ish in a sense, which is very interesting because of what I'm learning about Gemini now and their dedication to the truth, which I think is also a very important lesson overall in our journey, but especially during this eclipse season, because I feel like even to your own self, if there's anything that you've been hiding from yourself, from others, from yourself, wherever, everything, a light's being shown on everything. So it's very important to at least be honest with yourself. But we always say that. That's like the mantra now. I'm also doing this for myself, I think, because I'm going through a situation now where, like I said, I'm projecting, I'm reading my worst. And because of that, I'm lensing the outside world through this worst shadow lens. And I'm really struggling to alchemize it. I'm really struggling to be in the moment. I'm struggling to fully accept myself. I'm struggling to fully accept how I feel. I'm still feeling a tinge of that codependency, of the deep fear and shame and guilt over the way that I'm reacting. So, yeah, I can feel that there's something behind my visions that I can't see. I also did a reading for myself earlier and have been coming a lot across the moon, which I think is also another theme. I read online today that we are between an unusual moon cycle where, and I'm paraphrasing very loosely here, but something about how eclipse seasons normally happen with the full moon happening first into a new moon, but this one happened with the other way around. Eclipses normally happen with a new moon into a full moon. This happened with a full moon out into a new moon, and I think we're even having another full moon again not soon after. Not too far after. Point is, the astrology is intense. The skies are, bopping us all on the head consistently, making our ears ring, making us lightheaded, making us tired, overwhelming. It's all very overwhelming. So this reading is to, find something. There are many frequencies happening in the air right now. Just to find one string of something that will be useful for all of us. Take some things with us and to uplift and to ground. Something that has helped me, surprisingly, that I've been doing, but hasn't helped as much as it's helping right now during this eclipse season, which is interesting, is using a bowl of water in my environment to help my son and I sleep better, and to release this is a very important repetitive one I've been doing, releasing energy that doesn't belong to me and calling back my energy that's left in residue in situations that disempowered me, situations that are confusing me, things and places that lack clarity. I'm really trying to release the confusion frequency right now. The discernment is, like I said, it's been strangely tough. It's uncomfortable. Anyway, let's shuffle and see what comes up. Oh, interesting. Right. Okay. I remember when last I received so many cards in reverse, and I even tried to pick this one up. I picked this up trying to evade picking it up upright because I was intimidated by the reverse versions of these. And this was a reverse too. But I believe this is actually a very good card to receive in reverse. Anyway, we have the Eight of Rods and the Queen of Rods in reverse and the Five of Swords. So I'm going to touch on the Queen of Rods and the Eight of Rods first. This, if I remember correctly, speaks of acceptance after a period of deep, like, inner fear. That feeling of that video, we did it. We knew it was going to be difficult. That video, that feeling of, it's done, you know. That's the energy of this card. Let me look into the Queen of Rods. And then beneath, just to continue the story, we have the Seven of Discs, which also speaks of that discernment, inquiry. This figure is looking over at this horizon, not knowing whether or not these are sparkly glitter or an oncoming of some kind of danger. And then we have the Four of Swords. Both speak of a need to just rest, pause, take a beat, take in your environment, understand fully where you're at before making a decision. I believe this, what just intuitively, this card in reverse also speaks of a slowing down. So while all of this is helpful for me, in the sense that part of my projection and my shadow has been pushing into urgency, I've needed a rush and a quick answer for things that have been weighing on me. And the quick answer is not coming, and it's been very frustrating for me to experience. So this is it has the umbrella interpretation of a temperance, the temperance card. All of that to say that if you are, like me, in a place right now where you are feeling, you know, if you can just be patient with your process and know that there are things happening behind closed doors. Practice your faith in that. That's the most important thing I think that's needing to be instilled right now, is a faith, a surrender in a higher power, something where you can let your burdens go, because it's feeling very burdened for a lot of us right now, very heavy, very heavy. We don't know what to do with all the weight. This is where faith comes in. This feeling is why we invented God. Wink. Anyway, this card in reverse speaks of a lack of application, grounding, or commitment. Intuition drying up due to misdirected energy. Someone running on empty. If it continues, a serious imbalance may occur. Possibly parasitic or destructive tendencies. This is interesting because this is definitely the energy that I'm in right now. I've been getting that a lot as well. The lack of application, grounding, or commitment. Intuition drying up due to misdirected energy. And I can't understand. It's really evading me where it is that I'm supposed to be like, oh, okay, no, sorry, I just discovered it. Okay, because I pulled cards for myself earlier that I think probably has to do with this energy that we're in right now, which is annoying because it's like, how far can we be tested to have faith in God? Like, can't God just show up? Can't everything just work out? How much more faith do we need to practice for things to actually work out? Why isn't just God can't just be easy? And it feels like I'm being shouted at right now because I am throwing a tantrum about work that I've been doing. We're not new to this. We're true to this, okay? So what we're being asked to do and to keep up with isn't something that we don't know. It's not unfamiliar work to pray, to make sure you're hydrated, look after your health, appreciate your life and your health, be present in the moment. Like, none of these things are things that are new to us. We've been practicing this shit, but it's so hard. And it's like God is like picking us up on the chin going, how can it be hard now? You've been doing it for so long. What do you mean? This card, Eight of Rods in reverse, speaks of frenetic activity with no space to draw breath or reflect, stress, time pressure, too many deadlines, frustrated creativity, self-destructive urges. This word destruction is such a common theme right now. And it's interesting because I know that none of us are intentionally doing this, right? We're not all trying to be in destructive energy, but it seems like that energy itself is like taunting us to alchemize it, I suppose. But yeah, Like I've said, it has not been easy to alchemize this shit. It's been really crazy energy, really heavy grief. It's just been so sore. And this card in reverse, as I'd mentioned, good omen, speaks of the birthing of something new, possibility arising from a disorder, illness, or breakdown, self-awareness, endurance, acceptance, forgiveness. Yeah. And these cards are actually as important as they're more important than being left at the bottom of the deck. I think that this is actually what needs to be had of us right now, is a stillness, form of meditation, taking things as slow as possible to push against this frenetic, disorderly, chaotic energy. I think that doing this is the best way that we can gain control of it. I'd like to tap into the Seven of Discs to make sure that I interpreted that right. It's a little bit disheartening to receive cards like this, in my opinion, but I think I'm also just in my shadow. Because, yeah, I'm in a state right now where I feel like it's not letting up. That's the kind of frequency. I just feel so like, why isn't it, you know? And then to receive cards like this that give this energy of like, firstly, wait your process out. You're in too much of a rush. That's why things feel this way, because you're trying to have things exactly your way. You're being stubborn. You're being stubborn. You're on that damn phone too much. You are not trying to be present in your body. You're trying to escape way too often. How else? How else? How do you want this healing to come if you're just going to keep throwing a tantrum and behaving like a child? But like I said, I don't care. I'm in that state right now, so I'm baby. I don't care. This card upright speaks of a need for quiet observation before action, but also need to check your underlying motivation, ensuring you aren't sabotaging your plans by lack of action, becoming aware of the body's messages, working with it for self-knowledge, recognizing your limitations. I don't think that lack of action bit belongs in this reading, particularly because everything is pointing to the fact that we need to slow down. We are going too fast, even in thought. I found that as well, that my mind has been racing insanely, like where I've had to genuinely, in a way that I don't often find myself needing to do because of, I don't know, because I guess I wasn't as present as I am now. I find myself needing to literally, with my voice, say, slow down, calm down. No. Now you're doing too much. Yeah, this underworld exploration really isn't treating me that well. Like, it's tough. This is a very tough course, a very tough curriculum. But I'm glad that we are receiving the messaging that things are coming to a clear, and that we'll feel a sense of relief at the end of this. We'll be able to breathe better by the end of this month. Yeah, this eclipse thing that we're going through, it needs to be respected. We need to really stop trying to go ahead to some point in the future. It feels like everything happening now, this is necessary recollaboration, and we will do best, or we do worst, when we try to rush ahead and wish away this period. Because I'm also getting that sense. I know I've had it a few times, but I'm more just in the cooking of it. Just that sense of like really wishing that you could skip past this phase. And the constant questioning of why it is that this is happening, with a misery, not with a curiosity. We also have the Two of Rods. Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thank you, God, for this upliftment and reminder. And the Six of Rods. I love the light present in both. And the the path, like they're the same shape. It's the same shape. That's really great news, really relieving. And then the Three of Cups, which is nice, just in terms of partying. I love going out, and I've really missed being able to do that through this shadow period, but I just haven't found myself being able to like channel enough joy to even want to be out of my room. But yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. The chaos is on purpose. We're being validated and acknowledged for the pain, because it feels like it comes from pain. The pain that our self-destructive urges are leading us towards. The addictive habits, the escapism, the codependency, the repeating of toxic cycles that's probably happening right now. It's all you're already forgiven for it, for everything. Be patient with yourself through this. Trying to rush ahead is the last thing that you should do, and is exactly what will stagnate the energy even further, because it feels like we're in a period of stagnation right now as well. And just continue being as still and as observant as possible. Try not to make any rash moves or send any crazy messages. Unfortunately, I have already failed that test. I've already sent some crazy messages. I've already projected. I've already been angry for no reason, emotionally turbulent for no reason, out of nowhere, completely unstable. But I'm grateful even to myself for pulling these cards, because these are things that I needed to see. So I hope you enjoy the rest of what may follow from whenever it is that you watch this reading. And yeah, I should probably go meditate now. Thank you for watching, and love to us all during this really difficult time. We all have our shit, I guess. We're all processing our own things. I hope that you can be gentle with yourselves and each other through it, knowing that we're really all in this together, no matter who you are or who you thought you were up until this point, or who you thought you'd be. This is all changing us in very, very difficult to process ways, but we'll make it. We will make it.